Hello and welcome to Bread of Life, a daily devotional program which each week features a different area pastor. Our speaker for this week is Pastor Adam Soderberg of Hartford.
This week on the Bread of Life, we've been exploring one of the more difficult, if not the most difficult, issue we face in this life, the reality of illness or disability. In John chapter 9, Jesus told his disciples that a man was born blind so the power of God could be seen in him. Apparently, this man's assignment in life was to be born blind so that God could be glorified. So could my disability or illness glorify God too? Before we look at that question, I have another one. Where does illness come from in the first place? All sickness and calamity comes from the same source, the fall. When Adam and Eve sinned against God, they condemned all of humanity to suffer the consequences of their sin. One of those consequences is sickness. Romans 8:20-22 tells us, "A creation was subjected to God's curse, but with eager hope the creation looks forward to the day when it will join God's children in glorious freedom from death and decay. For we know that all creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time." We live in a fallen, broken world full of tragedy, illness, and disability. Even still, as Paul goes on to say in verse 28, we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. Yes, sometimes, as in John chapter 9, we see that God heals miraculously. He still does so today. At other times, however, since the world remains broken until the day Jesus returns, God will instead cause everything to work together for the good, even sickness, calamity, and other evils. God can use them all to bring about his sovereign purpose, to glorify himself, and to exalt his holy name. Remember, in John 9, verses 3-4, Jesus said, "It was not because of his sins or his parents' sins. This happened so the power of God could be seen in him. We must quickly carry out the tasks assigned us by the one who sent us." God can cause things to work together for the good. For instance, I will always remember my friend, Worth Noyes. Worth was a retired math teacher and member of the church I served for 9 years outside of Bangor, Maine. Worth passed away at age 101. The last few years of his life were difficult for him, as well as for his wife, Sarah. Worth suffered from Alzheimer's, and toward the end of his life was pretty much totally unaware of his surroundings or the people who came to visit him, including his beloved Sarah. It was heartbreaking for her, and she used to ask me regularly, "Why doesn't God just take him home? He's had a good life. Why must he go on?" To tell you the truth, I was stumped. I also began to wonder, why, God? Why not bring him home? Then, one day when I was visiting Worth, in came Sarah. It was not the assignment she wanted, but she came every day. She walked in and cheerfully greeted the staff, stopped to chit-chat a bit, and then came and sat with me and Worth. It was when I saw how the staff looked at her that it hit me. Please join me tomorrow, right here on 104.9 WIHS, for the Bread of Life.
You've been listening to Pastor Adam Soderberg of Hartford, our speaker for this week on Bread of Life, a program to encourage you from God's Word.